Dear listeners, I'm telling you a story about the mother and son. The last letter from Willow Street. It was raining, the kind of rain that feels like it has something to confess. Soft at first, hesitant, then heavier, like a heart finally breaking open. Eleanor Graves stood at the small upstairs window of the old brick house on Willow Street, watching the rain wash over the silent road below. At 72, her hands trembled slightly as she held a pale blue envelope between her fingers. The paper had yellowed with time, the edges soft and tired, as if the letter itself was exhausted from waiting. The postmark read, London, 27 years ago. She had never opened it. Behind her, the clock in the hallway ticked louder than it should have. Tick. 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 Every sound in that house was louder now that she was alone. Her husband had been gone for 14 years. And her son? Well, her son had disappeared almost 3 decades ago. People in the town said he had run away. Others whispered darker things. But Eleanor had always known the truth sat somewhere in between, tangled in fear, pride, and one terrible misunderstanding. She lowered herself slowly into the old armchair by the fire, the same chair where she used to read bedtime stories to a small boy with messy brown hair and endless questions. Outside, thunder rolled gently across the sky. And at last, she opened the letter. 27 years earlier, the house hadn't been quiet at all. It had been filled with laughter, slammed doors, angry footsteps, and 2 voices that loved each other too fiercely to understand one another. 16-year-old Daniel Graves stood in the doorway of the kitchen that night, rain soaking through his thin jacket, his school bag hanging uselessly off one shoulder. His mother hadn't noticed yet. She was stirring soup at the stove, tired from her long shift at the care home, her feet aching, her heart heavy with worry. She never spoke aloud. Where were you? She asked without turning. Daniel said nothing. The silence answered for him. She turned then, and saw his swollen lip. The fresh bruise under his eye. The shaking in his hands. Her wooden spoon clattered into the sink. Who did this to you? He hesitated. That hesitation would change both their lives forever. I fell, he said at last. She knew he was lying. But she was too afraid to push. Too afraid of what she might hear. You're late, she said quietly, the disappointment deep in her voice. I know, he replied. I'm sorry. But he wasn't sorry for being late. He was sorry for being scared. And scared boys make dangerous decisions. Daniel had been hiding something for months. A group of older boys. A promise of protection. Quick money. Fast trouble. He had joined to keep himself safe at school. But safety always demands a price. And that night, the price had been blood. Not his, but someone else's. The police would come looking within days. Daniel knew it. And fear told him to run before they could knock. That night, after his mother went to bed, Daniel packed a small bag. 2 shirts. 1 photo. And the blue envelope. He left it on the kitchen table, under the cold yellow light. Then he slipped out into the rain. Back in the present, Eleanor's hands shook as she read the first lines of the letter. Dear Mum. If you're reading this, it means I was too much of a coward to say goodbye properly. Her breath caught. Tears blurred the ink. For 27 years, she had believed her son left because he hated her. Because she had failed him. Because she hadn't asked the right questions. But the letter told a different story. A story of fear. A story of protection. A story of a boy who ran so his mother wouldn't be dragged down with him. I didn't want you to see me in handcuffs, the letter continued. I didn't want you to be ashamed. Outside, the rain grew louder. So did Eleanor's quiet sobs. Daniel hadn't gone far at first. He slept in doorways. On buses. In shelters that smelled of old coffee and regret. The boys he ran from never found him. But neither did his mother. Years passed. 16 became 20. Then 25. Then 30. He worked odd jobs. Changed his name. Built walls so thick even he forgot what they were protecting. But every year, on his birthday, he wrote a letter. He never posted them. Until one day. A woman with kind eyes at a charity center said something simple. You can't heal a wound you pretend doesn't exist. That night, Daniel mailed the blue envelope. And waited. But no reply ever came. So he assumed she never wanted to hear from him. And he never tried again. Eleanor reached the end of the letter with shaking breath. At the bottom were 4 words that shattered what remained of her strength. I am still alive. Her heart pounded violently. Alive. Her son was alive. For nearly 3 decades, she had lived with a grave that never existed. The next morning, for the first time in 27 years, Eleanor left Willow Street before sunrise. She took the letter. She took her courage. And she took the address written at the bottom, faded but still readable. The bus ride to London felt longer than her entire life. Every stop carried 1,000 fears. What if he hated her? What if he was angry? What if she was too late, again? When she finally stood outside the charity center, her knees almost gave way. Through the glass doors, she saw a man stacking chairs. His hair was streaked with gray. His shoulders broader. His face older. But when he looked up, she saw the boy. Daniel. Their eyes met. He froze. The room went silent inside his chest. For one long moment, neither of them moved. Then she raised the letter with trembling hands. And in a voice cracked by time and love, she said the only words that mattered. I should have opened it sooner. And the walls Daniel had spent his life building finally fell.